Okay, now it's recording. Okay. Next thing is treasurer's report. And here it is. As Jim said, we didn't have a very good month in August. You see the green bar there at the top? Boy, that's poor month. Last year we had a poor month in September, but a good month in August. So maybe it'll bounce back. We've done pretty well most months. It's been pretty steady. So we need to bounce back a little bit next month. And as Jim said, we're in the red, but not as far as not as far in the red as the budget numbers were. So we're okay. Any comments about it?
Well, part of August is always, we're on vacation. We didn't send in our money. We spent it on a trip. I know COVID has been curtailing some travel, but I have seen historically that this is a time period when it's been down. When we get into the end of the year, things will be made up.
Yeah, that's often the case, that the end of the year picks up, especially in November and December when people are thinking about it a lot. All right.
I think it's probably going to help out a little bit that a lot of parents had to stop working because their kids weren't going to school.
Yeah.
And while school's back in, a lot of parents probably are getting back into the workforce, which they weren't able to do. Because I know that was a constraint for a lot of people, is they're like, I don't have a job and I still have bills to pay. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Look, having kids in school makes a big difference. It changes everybody's lives. It's got kids, that's for sure. All right. Do we want to have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as it is?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. I got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Get in front of the camera.
Is your hand up, Loretta? I think that's a pass. Okay, thank you. Motion is passed. Okay, moving on to the playset. I told you in my report that I got a $2,000. $1,000 comes from Jean McKimmey. She had, you remember, she had said her $1,000 was given for the garden. The garden didn't happen, so I asked her if we could use that money for the playset, and she said sure. And then I called up Don Taylor and I said, you know, we really need a playset to help our families and to show people that we have that we're, you know, we serve kids. And can you give $1,000? And he said yes. So we got 2,000 out of how much do we need, Julie?
Before tax, about 7,500.
Okay, so we got to go 7,500. And I think, well, let's put it out there and see what we get.
Yeah.
People are usually pretty generous when they're giving to an actual thing they can, you know, visualize and touch. So let's see what we can do. If we don't get
Goodness knows we have enough people in the church with grandchildren that they would like to bring, and if no other reason, there's a space for their grandkids for visits. But I know all the bases, they're actually decreasing the amount of on-base services for spiritual. They're pushing all of those sailors out to the community. So want to do a little bit of advertisement.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, maybe Julie, you can work with me on this to try to publicize this to get some money coming in.
Yep. I'm going to try to be there Sunday. If I'm not, Jesse will be there. And obviously, you know, we'll be here the following Sunday because of this critter.
Yeah, we're going to baptize Marie.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. That is, She's at the kissing stage
Oh, yeah.
where she's learning to kiss.
All right. Do we need a motion on this that we are going to raise funds for a playset?
I so move.
Okay. I'm not sure what the motion should say, that,
Just say something about the goal of being 7,500.
okay,
We have seed money of 2,000 already. Something along that lines.
so we move to endorse
Pursue.
endorse the raising of money for a playset up to $7,500.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
I motion what you said, if that's allowed.
what'd you say?
You'd have to second, we have a motion already.
You got one?
Yeah.
Yes, the motion is to endorse the raising of money for a playset up to $7,500. Okay, all in favor, say aye, or raise your hand rather.
Aye.
1 second.
Oh, is there a second? Is there a second somewhere?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Now the
I
raise.
also, yes, second. Oh my God.
Okay, I see you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it passes. Okay. Next item is septic repair report. Peter, did you hear anything from John about this?
No, I did see him, but didn't come up. And I have no idea. I was busy with the Blackberry Festival when I saw him. My mind was focused on that. I did talk to him a while ago about it, but I thought he was going to follow up on it. So I've heard nothing more.
Okay, well, the bill I think was about $1,200, $1,177, I think it was. That was their estimate to fix this. We need to get it fixed before the ground gets saturated like November. So we're running into some time crunch here. We need to get it done because it'll be flooding. That ground will get saturated, it'll flood into the tank, and it'll make the drain field get overflowed if we don't do something. And I know we want to.
I move that we go ahead and fix it.
Okay, is there a
I
second on that?
second.
Okay. Any idea where the funds might come from?
Isn't it the responsibility of the people who put it in?
Well, that's what John was supposed to be investigating, but it's September. We need to get that thing done by the end of October, I would say.
Yeah. Well, do we know how much it's going to cost? I mean,
Yeah.
we're putting forth a motion without an idea of the cost.
No, it's $1,177.
Okay.
This is I brought it to you back several months ago, and we've been kicking it around for several months.
Yeah, part of the kicking around was who bears any responsibility for it having been approved when it was constructed, because there was some problem with how it was done that led to this problem. So that's what John was going to look into, and I'd still like to hear kind of what the outcome of that is. So Peter, would you be willing to follow up with John and report maybe just an email to the BC about that?
Yeah, I'll get back to him.
Yeah, okay. The idea is that if the county signed off on it, then does the county bear some responsibility here? Now, I don't think we're going to get any money out of the county.
No,
What about the people that put it in?
Well, yeah, they are the ones that bid $1,177 to fix it.
So they're saying they're not responsible for fixing it. So I don't know if the county can put pressure on the contractor to fix it or not.
Yeah,
So-
they might be able to.
And I'd be okay with approving funds to pay for the repair if after John looks into the county as far as, is there anything that we can do? Is this contractor liable for repairing it? But I mean, if he researches that and nope, it's on us. Okay, I'm willing, I think that's reasonable, but I think we should kind of beat the bushes to find out, is there any way to make the contractor fix it?
Yeah, okay. So where do we want to go with that?
I don't know. I just sent John a note. Let's see what he says.
Okay,
I don't know if he'll get back to me tonight or when.
okay.
I have a question. Did we approve the minutes before I got into the meeting?
Oh, thank you, Penny. We did not do that. So after we're done with this, we'll approve the minutes. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so we're back to the septic repair.
Who approved the minutes? Penny?
Hmm?
You approved the minutes then?
No,
The
let-
only que-
Dee, let's
No, we'll
wait.
do that later.
We'll do it in a minute, Dee. As soon as we get done with the septic repair issue, we'll go back and we'll approve the minutes.
Okay.
So maybe this is an unpopular opinion. The people who put it in, are they responsible? Yes. But of what our discussion has been thus far, they are able to hide behind the legality that we didn't realize it was installed wrong until the warranty was gone. And so we're kind of in this point where we've been kicking this ball around, right? And we're about to get to the rainy season. And if we kick it around too much, we're going to have structural damage. That's going to make it even more expensive. So do we have a timeline to say, okay, let's dig a little, but if it's not if it's not showing anything, let's fix it by this time? Because if we wait too long, the price tag is going to be a lot more than just the septic tank.
We can ask them COVID. I mean, they can extend the warranty. I mean, most companies, due to COVID, they don't charge the late charge. So with the warranty, depending when it ended and it happened during the pandemic, then they should be lenient about that.
Should is the key word. Ask me about the solar on my tiny and that fiasco.
Yeah.
Yeah, warranties get sticky.
Yeah.
At the same time,
The difficulty is-
might we get a bid from another company to fix it?
Well, I asked other companies and they didn't want to touch it.
Oh, okay.
If we put it off, then we run the risk of having the flooding and having the overflow of the liquids and so on into our septic system. If we repair it and then the city or the county comes back and says that the contractor is responsible, then you can go back after the contractor to get reimbursed for the work that you've had done. But postponing the work, we could create more problems for ourselves. So I really think that the work should be done. And then if the county says the contractor is responsible, then you go back after the contractor, after the work is done and after everything is taken care of, and get a reimbursement.
Okay,
I agree. I agree.
That makes
We've
sense.
got a timeline as far as when we really need to get it done by, to be careful.
well, I would say
I was
just first.
I
Because,
was just on the phone with John. He does not have any contact from the county.
okay, so,
So I think we should go and fix it. Then we'll go after the contractor and find out from the county how come they approved a shoddy job.
okay.
Yep.
All right, is that the motion then?
Yes, and I would take the funds out of the, see, I think it was mentioned once that we could take it out of the house fund.
Yeah,
What do we call that thing?
no, the house maintenance fund. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. Okay, that sounds good to me. And is the seconder okay with that?
Who made the motion?
Peter made the motion.
I was the seconder.
Hey,
I'm
Peter.
good with that.
Peter made the motion, Julie seconded it, that we pay the contractor and then go to the county to see if we can get the contractor to give us the money back. Okay, that's all right. Everybody got that? Okay, so let's vote. All in favor, raise your hand.
Yeah,
Motion
Marie's hand doesn't count, Julie.
Okay, it passes. Thank you.
And just to clarify, as far as who's going to the county.
John has been trying to get to the county.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna, so,
He just hasn't gotten there yet. He hasn't found anybody. I don't know what. He's just not there yet.
Well,
okay,
I'll get the contractor to work. And John, he's the kind of guy that can talk to the county. So,
okay. Sounds good.
good, okay. Okay, next, transition update. Peter, you want to do that?
Wait a minute, what about the minutes?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
you're gonna
Oh,
do the minute.
Penny.
Thank you, Penny, for being our conscience. The minutes from last time, does anybody have any changes for the minutes from August 19th?
The
The only change I would make was when it was, we were talking about a new computer for Linda, and it came up that I had talked about the interactive screen. It wasn't a proposal by my part for an interactive screen. It was in the original plans. So I did propose the fencing around the septic system though.
Right, okay. So should we just take that out? Delete an interactive screen for the narthex?
Got it.
And I think I read that Sylvia Campbell was in attendance, and I don't remember her being there.
It does say Sylvia Campbell.
Yeah, so we need to delete Sylvia Campbell.
Got it.
Okay.
So I'll move that we accept the minutes with the corrections that we've noted.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Who's second,
Loretta.
Loretta?
A second.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All in favor, say aye, or raise your hand rather.
There's my hand.
Oh, you got your hand up on the screen, yeah. Okay, motion passes. All right. Now,
Now transition.
Yeah.
Arian Davison has been on vacation, well, not vacation. She was at a conference of the Diocesan Transition Ministers. And she wrote to me today. I was hoping for an earlier answer from her, but I did get one today. And she sent me a bunch of information we'll discuss later. We do have a contract, which we will discuss later. And that's about where we are.
Okay. I had a question in my letter of separation. I don't know if that's a separate deal, but it says something in there about if the vicar retires, the vicar can participate in some things. So we need to get clarification from Arian about that.
And hopefully I will send a message to her about, well, I told her about 7:15, maybe a little later. I'm going to send her a message and she will join us on Zoom.
Okay, okay,
And then I'll get the answer to that and let you know.
all right. Okay, that's good. Anybody else have any questions or comments about the transition? I assume that after October 13th, everything will turn into high gear where we get a profile committee and a search committee and all that.
But we have a profile committee. It just hasn't started yet.
Okay. All right, are we ready for the next item? Which is approved funding for the fence around the septic tanks.
Okay, what I found was at Lowe's, they have a fence, kind of a modular fence piece. Each one is 45.5 inches wide, and they're about 3 feet high. And it's modular in the fact that you put stakes, preset stakes into the ground and then kind of slide the fence down on top of it. And the whole purpose is to keep the 30 feet front around the septic tank and maybe 2 panels backwards So I'm proposing that we get 12 of the panels that are about $30 a piece. They're 29 something or other. And the stakes to go with them, which are $8 a piece, and we need 10 of those. So the proposal to upwards to 500, including taxes, to buy the materials at Lowe's, bring them in, put them around the septic system so that we don't run it over.
So the total cost is what?
Let's see there. I'm going to round it off. $30 a section, and we'll need 12 sections. So that's 360. And then we need 10 posts to hook them all together, and they're $8 a piece. So that's 80. So 360 and 80, and then plus tax.
440 plus tax, say $500.
That's what I was looking, upwards to $500. Yes.
Okay.
So at the last meeting we had, we did approve paying for a landscape design person to give a plan for the overall property. And honestly, I don't really know where the septic system is. So the person who is coming, it took a while to tie him down as far as when he was available. He's coming the 18th of September at 5 p.m. I'm meeting with him at the property. I was going to ask David Sorrell, Emily, if you wanted to come. And Peter, I don't know if you want to come, or maybe we can talk and you can show me where the septic system is. I don't know. But I just wonder, before doing this, building the fence, it'd be good to get input from the landscape guy as far as fencing, and or is there another way to ensure that this property, that this piece of the property is protected and is kind of flows with whatever the design's going to be. So I'm wondering if we might hold off on voting on this until maybe the next BC meeting.
Yeah, we have
Fine.
a couple of sawhorses out there with bright fluorescent orange stripes. Bill Tate, you put those up, didn't you?
Yeah, it's around the septic.
There are road construction barriers that are back there now. They're behind the offices. And so I brought road construction barriers, which are set up behind there. But I really think we need to protect it, because if you drive over the area, you can do more damage, and then we have to have major repairs done, and that's expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No. Yeah, for sure.
So,
It needs
and
to be
these
protected.
fences, the fences can be moved. You just drive the stake in the ground, and
Right.
then you just pull them out and move them. So
They
I
can
really
also,
think it's something that would give us protection.
it would also be something we could reuse when it comes time to assemble the play set. So that we can just move it from the septic to around where the play set gets installed to keep that area safe while it's under construction. So it'd be a reuse cost.
I don't know. I think it's a good idea to wait and see what the landscape guy says.
Yeah.
We have some ideas about this rather than plunging ahead with $500 that, we don't know about.
Okay.
Yeah, and I am available at the 18th. I will be over at the YMCA, Hazelwood YMCA, from 2 o'clock to 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock at their the Wellness Kitsap festival that's going on that day. But it's over at 2, so I can meet you at 5.
Okay, great. That'd be super. And then at the next meeting, we can see what this landscape person came up with, and then follow up on this.
I'll
Sure.
let David know.
Yeah, let David know.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'll let David know.
Yep, Yep, I think David needs to be there. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The barriers that Bill put up, they protect it adequately.
Yeah.
So it's not like somebody's going to run over it next week.
Well, and we don't always park back there, but we
Right.
want to
Yeah.
make sure that it's protected.
Yeah, it's a good idea to put something back there. I agree with that for sure.
If
Okay.
we need it, that we can run emergency tape between the barriers.
You mean crime scene tape?
Yes.
Yeah. Resurrection scene. Let's see, Arian, are you here?
Yeah. I see you down there.
I am here. I am
Okay,
here. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're not quite ready for you. Can you wait a few minutes?
Oh, yeah, yeah. You just keep on keeping on. And when you holler, I will be, I'm just enjoying watching your beautiful faces, hard at work doing the ministry of Jesus. So when you
Okay.
need me, you tap me in.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay. Cleaners is our next item. At least I think we're ready to move on. Are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay, cleaners. Dee, did you get any information about other cleaners?
I did. I got 2, let's see, Clean for You services at 300. So she's willing to give it at 150 twice a month, so 150. And Kids Up Cleaners also, they're willing to do $40 an hour, so about 160.
Okay,
Is the current cleaner cleaning
yeah,
still?
Yep.
And is he aware that the 4 hours is 4 hours? Or
no,
does he
he
still?
he
do
told
5
us
hours?
5 hours. He told us August would continue to be 4 hours, but at September, it was going to go to 5 hours.
Okay. We can give these other people a shot if you guys want to.
Which one do you recommend?
I say Clean for You services because she's willing to go at a lower rate for churches.
Okay,
I have a question that may tie in with this. The last time I was at church in the kitchen, I looked down at the kitchen floor and it's pretty dirty, but I don't know if that's falling under the requirements of the cleaning service or if we need to get some volunteers in there to get scrubbing.
I was about to ask a similar question, Penny, because when I am able to get the girls to church, my oldest is potty trained. And so she likes to use the little potty in the nursery. And it's looking pretty scary. And I've had to escort a couple spiders out the door before she used it in the past.
well, the nursery is not part of the contract.
Yeah.
I mean, we could include it, but there you got another hour of cleaning or whatever.
I didn't know if it's a, hey, if I'm using it, I guess I'm on cleaning duty, but
Yeah.
Well, no,
I can check back with them and ask them, what would it cost, or can you throw in additional for nursery? I mean, I can even ask her if they do this, maybe we could put their business name on the website just to give them marketing.
no, I don't like that idea.
No? Okay.
We're
Well,
not,
I can.
we're not in
check with her and see if-
advertising space.
Okay. So I'll ask her and Casep Cleaners to see how much more, or if there's gonna be an additional cost for that.
Well, I really don't think we need to clean the nursery because we're not using the nursery. I mean, other than the occasional use like that.
it was just a question of who's in charge of cleaning the toilet every now and then. And if we do happen to have a little, since it's occasional, but it's like, I didn't know if that was a, show me where the wand is and I'll do it when I'm there, or, yeah.
Yeah, well,
So it's the
it's not-
nursery not being used on Sundays?
we don't have any. nursery.
Because the flow's all wrong, we can't protect those kids against COVID. And most of them are too young to wear a mask. So it's really hard to use the nursery.
Yeah, we're not using the nursery because of COVID.
Got it.
So if you want to add that into the cleaning bill, you can, but I just don't think, it's worth it.
Let's leave it out for now.
Okay, so which one did you want to go with, Dee?
Clean for You
A clean
at
for you?
$300 a month.
Okay. Why don't you give me their information and I will contact them and get them going, and I'll contact Wonderland Cleaners and tell them to stop.
Got it.
Okay.
Let's see, I guess we should put that in a motion. Dee, are you moving that we end our contract with Wonderland and start the contract with, what's their name again?
So I motion to terminate Wonderland service and hire Clean for You for cleaning services at St. Anthony.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Virtual or real.
Reaction. There it is.
And who will be overseeing how this new, how are we gonna determine, is this working out for us or not? Is it gonna be up to the interim to kind of oversee how things are going? Because how are we gonna determine how it's going?
Good question.
I think each of us has a responsibility to make sure our church is clean. And if we do notice something, then we can make that note and we can get a hold of the company.
You know, usually you need a some
Need a
person who's
person.
gonna take the initiative to be the contact.
Well,
Well,
considering you're leaving and I'm being left with the job of running the place, I guess it's me.
Or I can help out, Peter.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion passed and we'll get that done. All right, the next item on the agenda is project resource update. So I put a little bit about this in my vicar's report. On Sunday, 5 of us met with the project resource Zoom meeting, and they gave us this really nice program about the why in when you're trying to promote your organization. Instead of saying what you do, say why you do it. And they gave Apple as an example. Apple doesn't say, we're making this really neat computer or this neat phone, why don't you buy it? What they say is, we are designing things differently and better, and we want to make the world a better place. That's their why. And so they encouraged us to get on our Zoom meeting and talk to each other and come up with our why. Why is it that we are interested in doing stewardship development at St. Anthony's? So we talked about it and we came up with, let's see if I can find it here. I'll bring this up on the screen. So the question was, why are you investing your time and energy and resources in stewardship development in your church? And this is what we came up with. We believe the divine spark lives in every person, and we are called to care for each other and the world. So that's why we're doing it. That's our deep reason for working on this thing. So next week, the next Sunday, we're going to meet again, and they're going to give us another presentation, and then we're going to have another Zoom meeting, the 5 of us, and keep working on our stewardship campaign for this fall. So it sounds pretty good so far. I thought we had a lot of good energy and a lot of good ideas thrown out there, and we'll see how it goes. Anybody have any questions or comments from the ones that were there? Bill, did you have?
But I thought it was a helpful perspective to start with the why. And it just seems pretty simple and basic, but how often do we really stop and ask ourselves, like, why am I here? Why am I in this church? Why did I make the effort to come here today? So beyond that, I want to see the people, just really to kind of hone in on kind of what's a deep down motivation for us to be a part of a church community. What do we believe? So that was helpful.
I thought it was too. Before we start talking about money, we start talking about, why we're here. Yeah. Did you have any thoughts about it, Bill?
I was just impressed with the idea that we don't immediately go after the money, and we don't go after, this is what we want to do and this is what we want to use it for. It's, why do we exist? And what is our function? And why do we meet together? And then once we figure that out, then it's, how can we improve our relationship and our relationship with God and expand? And that's what I'm waiting for to see in the next couple of weeks as they present how they do this and how they tie all this together, because they're the professionals and they know where we're going.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
good, good. Okay, well, the next item on the agenda is stewardship. We've got a stewardship banquet coming up October 21st. It's about a month and a half away. So we got some time to plan. Bishop Rickle is coming. I asked him back in February or March to get it on his calendar, because that's how far you have to plan ahead with him. And so we need to think about how we're going to do this. Do we want it to be catered or potluck? We need a team, to set up and take down, do decorations, all that sort of thing. What are your thoughts on this dinner?
All of the above have to be done.
What?
All of what you just said has to be done.
Okay,
So, and you're not going to be here. So again, I'm the bishop's warden. So I'm going to have to contact some people and see if we can get a few people to come in and set up tables, get decorations put up, get things set out. And then, of course, we go back to that why. Why are we here? What's the presentation going to be? Because the bishop will give us a sermon. He will give us whatever encouragement that he gives us. And we'll get to that why. As you said, why do we exist? And it was up on the page there about us determining why we're here. But then come the questions. What is it we do about that? When are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? And where are we going to do it? So those questions then pop up immediately after we know the why. And of course, that involves then getting into our time, talent, and treasure, and how we're going to present. And I know in the past, we've wondered about time, talent, and treasure cards and things. Do we want to do that again? Do we want to have a time, talent, and treasure document that people can pledge to?
yeah, I think the project resource is going to help us with that. So I think by the time
Yeah.
the banquet comes, we're going to have that, have a plan for that.
Okay. Well, then you and I will be in close contact.
Okay. I'm wondering about the nitty gritty details. Like, I think if we have a sign up sheet for setup and cleanup, people will probably sign up for that. That's usually not too hard. I'm wondering about the food. Should we have, what should we do about the food? And what about table decorations? Usually that's takes quite a bit of work. Anybody want to take any of this on?
I'll take it.
Well, Dee, you always take everything.
Is this something that we should also ask Chelsea about, since she's been doing a lot of the social stuff and she may have table decorations already?
We could ask her. Mhm.
She buys certain table covers for certain themes, but the church does have some. But I have a bunch of table covers on hand that I could donate, but it all depends on if you guys want to do a theme for this or a specific color, or you guys want to add in, I need more specific as far as decorations or, flowers or,
Yeah, we have tablecloths, a real nice white tablecloths, so that's not a problem. But usually it's nice to have, you know, some flowers on the table, maybe some color napkins, maybe something on the serving tables, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Maybe,
Well, I have a Costco card. I don't necessarily always have the funds, but I can always go get the disposable fancy looking stuff from Costco.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
When you ask
Or-
the question if it's catered or potluck, do we have the budget to have it catered? If not, then it's potluck.
yeah,
Well, I think maybe potluck might not be a bad idea, considering the fact that we're trying to save and raise money.
right,
yeah, I
It
kind of
does
feel the same way.
commitment.
yeah, I
think-
agree.
I think people will step up and they'll be glad to do a potluck.
And it'll be easier
Yeah.
for people who can't necessarily be there in person to at least bring something to be shared with the people who can be there. Like if, depending on the time of the dinner, Jesse and I can't make it with the girls, but we can send something for the potluck and do other little things to make it be successful.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah,
Okay.
And Dee, I think if there were signups for like setup, cleanup, decorations, I think people will sign up. So if they know, kind of, they have a specific job.
Got it.
okay, so let's do a sign-up sheet. Dee, would you like to be in charge of that sign-up sheet?
I will definitely do that for you.
Okay,
Okay,
decorations, cleanup, and setup, at least those three things.
And break.
and it could be in the announcements, church announcements, as far as,
I was thinking that we start announcing this Sunday. And both services, if you want to come to both and make the announcements, I can do that.
Couldn't hear you, Peter.
I will come and make announcements to church.
great.
Okay, I think this Sunday is a little early. We need to let a little time pass and,
Okay.
You could use the same idea that we did when we did the barn sale, because we had those stand-up sign-up sheet things, and they grab people's attention because they were standing.
And I don't think it's early. I think this is a big deal. The bishop's coming. And
okay,
it's, so I think just putting it out there so people kind of put it on their calendar and can start helping with the planning, the decorating. So I don't think it's too early.
yeah, you're right, you're right. Yeah, we should do it this Sunday. Okay,
And we'll make 3 groups. One for setup, one for the operations during the dinner, and then for breaking down afterwards. Because we have to put the church back together, since we
Right.
might want to do services on Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll make a sign-up sheet and talk about it this Sunday.
Okay, I will come to both services to make it happen.
Okay. All right. I think that takes care of our agenda and we're ready. Is that right? Are we done with everything? Anybody have any reports or other items that they would like to do before we get to Arian?
Bill, just a quick question. Do you need me to come Sunday to make an announcement about the playset, just to get that ring in the ear for people?
No, I think we don't need to do that this Sunday.
Do that when?
Not this Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for our next BC meeting, is the interim going to be part of these meetings or not? Will it just be ourselves?
We'll discuss that very soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Okay. Anything else?
Nor do you have to know the answer.
No, I don't need to know. Okay. Is there any other business we need to do before we talk to Arian? I think we're ready then. Arian, are you there?
I am still here.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave and my picture will still be up there, but I'm gonna have it off and I'm gonna go away and do something else. So
Okay. Are they going to summon you back when we're done?
no, I'll close out the meeting later.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, thank you for making time for me, Bill, and thank you for being here. It's actually, I'm not used to seeing him with St. Antony's. I usually see him when he's flying solo. So it's wonderful to see a priest with his people.
Yeah, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See you guys
And-
later.
Am I supposed to be here or do I leave also?
As a deacon.
Yeah, I mean, I will defer to the warden on this. So you generally, the interim priest probably will have some, it's a weird role. You belong to the bishop, but in lieu of having,
Yeah,
because like he's not stipendiary, the senior warden isn't in charge of his employment, right? So it's a little bit squishy.
yeah.
So you guys can decide.
So, yeah, because I report to the bishop, but I don't need to be here, I guess.
Yeah, I think you don't.
Right.
But there's nothing
Yeah, I
secret,
think it's-
I don't think, about after, it's all
It
gonna
just
get
makes-
announced, I guess, is what I'm gonna say. It just isn't all done
Yeah.
yet.
It makes it a lot easier. Okay, I'll see you.
All
Bye.
right. Okay. Oh, tough day, tough night for somebody, that's all,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen who are left. I did meet with Craig almost 2 weeks ago. And we did go through the letter of agreement and we came up with a salary and most of the agreements in the letter itself. But I contacted Arian, who's actually ironically been off on a conference about transitions. And
Not ironic, I'm hustling for you, I'm hustling
Yeah.
for all of our congregations.
so anyway, I asked her a few questions that came up. And the two big issues that were on the contract dealt with retirement and medical. The rest of the contract has been agreed to, and here's what we're going to do. We are going to start November 1st with Craig Vaselka being our interim. You guys have already agreed to have him be the interim. Not announced yet, of course, but as soon as we have a letter of agreement that we at least not necessarily fully signed, but we have it ready to go, maybe we can then make the announcement. I'll leave that up to Arian to say
Always
yes
have to
or
wait
no.
for the bishop for announcing, but it won't take too long because once we have a final copy, it's done electronically and the bishop doesn't like to be a holdup.
No.
So it'll be pretty
So,
quick.
and that's what I was hoping is that we would get it as soon as possible. The agreement is that he will begin his term November 1st. Bill's done officially the October 31st. And then this contract will run through 2022. And if we need him longer, then we will discuss at that time how, we'll have a good idea of just where we are in regard to the search and whether or not we have found someone before then or we need an extension beyond 2022. We'll discuss it with Craig at that time. So that's how that sits. He has also agreed to be our supply for the 3 Sundays after Bill leaves, because Bill's last service is going to be the 10th of October, and he will turn in his keys the 13th of October, so that he will no longer function as our vicar at that time, even though his contract will actually extend to the 31st. So Craig has already agreed to be the supply for those 3 Sundays. And I've talked to Jim Foley about it. We have money to pay at the going rate, $3 billion or whatever it is. I'm kidding, Arian, I'm kidding. But
Big deal, I'll take it.
yeah, I know you will. Now you're already employed, dear. So anyway, and I think it's 300 and something, isn't it, a Sunday?
It's I think it's 250 something for 2 services and then mileage or something,
Yeah,
something
okay.
like that.
Anyway, it will be covered. We will do the same thing we've done with Bill. He's going to fall into the middle range of the salary schedule for our size parish, which puts his salary right around the 80,000. Of that, we are going to, Jim already knows how to do this, we're going to take out X amount for housing. so that that will be reported to the IRS as a housing allowance and basically a work benefit. So it's not counted as income. He will do a mileage and keep records of his mileage so that we can pay for, when he turns in his report, we'll cover his mileage for business of the church, not for his personal, but for business of the church. The same thing as Bill has been doing for years. So the questions then come up as to what we're going to do about, because Craig's on the Washington State Medical Plan because he retired out of the University of Washington Hospital, and therefore his medical comes under the state of Washington, not the diocesan health plan. So Arian, this is where you gave me the information that we should probably pick up his premiums without calling it reimbursement in Medicare.
So, I mean,
How do
the
we
one
work
thing,
that?
so there were two parts here, so I want to make sure we get them both right. One of them was about retirement. And it's important to remember that secular retirements, including military retirements, that the church pension group doesn't care whether or not you've been working for 30 years. They care if you've been working as a priest and for how long. So Craig is considered active, I think, with CPG. He became active when he was employed by Faith. So you will have to pay retirement for him because he hasn't retired, unless he has retired from CPG, which I don't think he has. And so you will need to pay the 18% assessment on the 80 for him for his retirement. For the health plan, the thing will be,
Excuse me, even if he says he doesn't want to.
yeah, so the canons require you to do it as the employing church.
All right.
So this one is like, it's not actually up to him because CPG considers him to be active because he's not a retired priest. Then if for you to employ him, you must pay the premium. It's called an assessment, and the church canons specify that. It's not simply a diocesan policy, church-wide, and then local canons do. And to be frank, one of the only I haven't seen like the diocesan council go after congregations for being in arrears. The one time I've seen it, one of the break-in point was they weren't paying the pension because it's canonically required and it was really hurting the priest. In this case, even if he doesn't need it, you are canonically, I have to tell you, you're canonically required to pay it. I would say if you for some reason decided to violate the canons and not pay him, the consequences would be discipline from the bishop, and it would risk, even if he doesn't need the pension, if he were hit by a car, needed to take short-term disability, that's a benefit that CPG provides to people that are active. So if you're not paying that, then he doesn't get short-term disability if he needs it. He doesn't get his spouse doesn't get a survivor benefit because that's all tied to the assessment and the active status. So
Okay, well, that will be part of the agreement.
yeah.
That's what Craig and I'll discuss that with Craig.
Yeah, and so then the medical piece, what it sounds like to me, so I checked with Dee Dee Moore, our canon for human resources, who drafts human resources policy. She's a certified HR professional and goes through all of the agreements and stuff for us. So I ran this by her because I wanted to confirm, because I didn't think you could do it. So what she said is it's federal law and it's about Medicaid. It's not actually about, this one's not about canons, where the retirement requirement is about church canons. There's a federal law that prohibits people from being reimbursed for Medicaid expenses. And so the only time we've heard about a congregation getting around this was a parish. And I know I can put you in touch with them, but as I researched it further, the way they did it was requiring it's a secondary payer exemption is what it's called. And I linked the information about this and the form to Peter in the email that I sent him. Right. In order to qualify for that, you have to, in order to reimburse them for Medicare costs, including the premiums, I think, you would have to be a business or an employer smaller than 20 people. Now you might think to yourself, oh, we don't employ 20 people at St. Anthony's, except you're a mission. So you're not legally distinct from the diocese. So right now that really stinks. When we were getting PPP money, it was really great because we did one application together and distributed it to all the missions. But in this case, you don't probably qualify as a small employer. So you wouldn't be able to pay him for that. If you were to decide, you know, Craig is just not making enough money and we're going to give him a couple $100 a month extra over what we were going to, that is not illegal. If you say, we're going to give him this much money to offset his Medicare premium, it appears that that is. So that is all I've said.
That's called language.
Right. So what I'll say is, you know, this is a recorded meeting. So if you decide you need to give Craig more money for some reason, that is up to y'all. But it absolutely cannot be tied to a reimbursement, and you can't use language in the contract or in the conversation that suggests it's reimbursement or an offset.
Okay.
They were great questions. You guys are real clever. Those are really great questions. I had to do homework.
We tried.
Yeah.
All right, so I will bring these up with Craig. Now the question becomes one of, these do answer his questions, which means that then the letter of agreement is matched with what we have been discussing, what I've discussed with Craig. So I should probably make this a meeting with Craig first to get him to agree to the letter of agreement,
Yeah.
and then bring it to the BC.
So usually what happens is the warden and priest, either via email, like often it'll be as simple as one person, like the warden who has information about payroll and specifics, fills in what they know, and then talks to the priest either via email or in person about stuff that you haven't agreed to yet. And usually some of this stuff is like, how often are you paid? Some of it's choices that you honestly have already made as policy or custom in the congregation. So for the things that aren't like that, those are the things you talk about. You simply need to record them in the letter of the agreement in the marked space and send me back a clean copy unsigned. What I'll do is take that document and turn it into a PDF and send it electronically for signature to everybody. So the next steps would be you fill in the agreement, send it to Craig, talk to him about it. It goes back to the bishops committee for approval. And there's a place at the bottom where it says this was agreed to at such and such a date. So make sure the date is accurate. If there's a place like that the BC reviewed it. The reason why y'all want to review it is you've done a great job of talking, Peter, about all of the details and pieces that are in it. A thing that's going to happen is in a year or two, like next year, say, either you're going to review another LOA or he's still going to be here at this time, right, for instance. And when you get to that point, I actually do think it's important every time you onboard new bishops committee members or vestry members to have a look at the agreement, because a thing that can happen after a mere 3 years is that everyone on your bishops committee could turn over from the people who signed the agreement. So the work you've done here, Peter, to help people really understand the compensation package is really helpful. And so we'll just keep that conversation going, but you'll review the LOA as a BC, you have to vote on it. If you do it electronically, like via email, I think the rules are email is 100%. The quorum is everybody voting in the affirmative. Zoom meetings are easier. You can have it's just the majority of the quorum, I believe.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, actually it's just ladies. If I call a Zoom meeting after I meet with Craig, can we do that? I will send you copies of the contract and you can look it over and see what it is. The only two areas that we had of question were, of course, about the retirement and medical. the medical, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Craig's going to just be stuck with the fact that he's not having to pay any retirement, but we are.
Yep.
So, and I've already talked to Jim Foley about this. And so he's on board. He knows what's going to be taking place. He knows what the numbers are. And we will just continue with what we've been doing with Bill. And it'll be just Craig now instead. So, and Craig understands this as well. So if I call a Zoom meeting next week, will that be acceptable? Nod your heads if it's okay.
Okay.
As
Sure.
far as I know, but as just when you call it, make sure to call it knowing I'm a full-time school teacher now.
Oh, like I haven't been there.
No, no, you
Well,
haven't.
actually, I haven't for 11 years. Oh my.
I know you might have gotten used to having free time to put more things to do in.
Now, the last question I have, which I brought up to Ariane, and she wrote back to me, deals with our next bishop's warden. And I brought it up to her because, well, hey, frankly, I'm not going to be the bishop's warden after January's annual meeting. And at some point, the vicar has decided to speak with someone who say, will you be the bishop's warden, please? And when Bill asked me, he never told me he was retiring, even though he was working on it. And so I said, yes, thanks a lot, Bill. I love you dearly. But, and this is my second stint to do this, to be bishop's warden while we're missing a vicar because of retirement, because Dick Scott did the same thing to me. So I have great experience that I don't want to have. So anyway, I asked Ariane about this, and let's see, you said to me, where is it? Here we are. The 2020 Constitution and canons have an answer for us. Thank you. Canon 11, Section 3E, at the first meeting of the Bishops' Committee after the missions annual meeting, the vicar shall appoint a member of the committee. Now, generally what's been happening in the past is the vicar is already taking care of it, and at the annual meeting makes the announcement of who the next senior warden is going to be. At that same meeting, the Bishops' Committee shall select one of its members as its people's warden, which happened, and Penny said, wow, how come I got elected? Or maybe not. Maybe you said, I'll do it. The problem here we have is that we're without a vicar at that meeting. And so the Bishops' Committee shall elect both the senior and junior warden from its members. Now, this is not the normal way in which it's done, but I ask you, each of you, to really seriously think about what your position should be. Penny and I think Chelsea, are vacating the BC. Two things have to take place. We have to replace us. And so we have to find the people that are willing to say, is it I, Lord? Here I am, Lord, send me. Just like I wrote in the newsletter about the song that we sang on last Sunday and or Sunday ago. So that becomes a priority item as well. And we're really going to have to start working on that with the next meeting, because I'm going to be in charge of 3 more meetings, November, December, and the January annual meeting. So please think about who you want to be on your Bishops' Committee and see if you can talk and volunteer them. And they say, it is I, Lord. I will just send me. And that's not going to be easy. And then the second one is, those of you who are left, Julie, Emily, Dee, Loretta, one of you should be, or maybe somebody else who's not present currently, should be the bishop's warden. I talked to Bill Reeder about it, because Bill Reeder, during our last transition, to find Bill Fulton, was the bishop's warden after me. And he said, it's not a great deal of work, but the work becomes one of that. Even though we have an interim vicar, the bishop's warden's in charge of the parish. So, and I'm not wrong on that. I'm Arian.
Yeah, so there are some duties that you, so so the agreement will say, have specifics about what the canons delegate to the interim, but some things like convening the meeting never become the interim's job. Although you may invite the interims to be a part of the meeting and excuse them for conversation about transition. But yes, there's some powers that are going to stay without warden. The one thing I will say is, with the agreement of the interim, a warden can delegate some powers to the interim or other members of the bishop's committee. So for instance, if just like a vicar can delegate to the senior warden or bishop's warden to chair the bishop's committee meeting, the senior warden can ask the interim to help or pinch hit for some of these tasks. So the goal is really ideally to know what the rules are, be collaborative and flexible in figuring out how it's going to work at St. Antony's, which I know you guys are really good at.
So there you have it, folks.
I have a question.
Yes, dear.
Okay, so Vicar's retiring. Is there a way that we could just postpone you guys' retirement as well?
You actually, so there are actually, I get this question a lot. In transition, can you, and the term we use is freeze the vestry or freeze the BC, which means you prevent people from rolling off. Our diocesan canons do not allow for that. In fact, they actually require something that a lot of congregations don't do, which is not allow people to have two successive terms. The rules actually say you've got 1 3-year term and you have to take a break before you come back.
Right, and it has to be at least a year, isn't it?
Yes, it specifies a minimum of a year.
I had to try.
I know it. And you were not the first. Unfortunately, maybe the best, but not the first.
Don't tell her I said so, but I vote for Carrie Rivers. She'd kill me. I'm scared of her.
Not only that, but I've already talked to her about coming back on the BC. It's not happening.
And I will say, because I never actually, I had a custom when I was a vicar of not, I actually asked my bishops' committees to elect the bishop's warden and junior warden every year, even when I had the canonical authority to appoint. So our custom was we would have our annual meeting and then retire to the church for the after meeting, in which we would do about half an hour usually. And I'm a bit peculiar. So the way we would do it is I would say everyone who could do it, who doesn't have terminal cancer, who doesn't have 2 kids and 2 jobs, everyone who believes like it's possible that I could do it.
You just said Julie can't do it.
I'm saying everyone has to discern, but really the idea would be you really ask yourself first.
Right.
Could I do this
Peter,
job?
you say that, Peter, but I'm switching over to being Chelsea's second fiddle for a little bit because with COVID, I have no youth to do any youth ministry with except getting them at the building. So I'll be playing second fiddle to Chelsea for a bit because it is a bit too much, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, they're all.
I do have a couple of people
Oh.
in mind, but we'll discuss that later.
I would always have everybody raise their hand and then put down their hand if they can't do it. And then we would all look and see whose hand was still up. And then we would vote until there was a majority.
I can't do it. I'm not on.
Yeah,
the
that's
BC.
right. So I think a thing to think about is like, if you feel like it's hard, there are structures and ways you can, like the talent is in the room. So part of this is us really praying and discerning together, and being honest about what we can and can't do. if really everybody's hand goes down, you have a different problem. Right? So we all need to be praying and thinking about what we have the capacity to do, and also thinking about how much we love each other. Like you love these people and want our life and community to be better.
All right, two more things. We'll get back to the bishop's one later. Arian, I would like to invite you to come to our stewardship dinner.
Oh, when is it?
It is October 21st, I think it is.
Let me see if I-
Linda, you know that. You're muted.
Linda isn't here.
Linda Roebuck is sitting right in front of me.
What time is it?
Is she here?
You're muted, dear.
Oh, me?
No, Linda Roebuck.
What time is that dinner?
Let's see, the dinner, I think is at 6.
5. No,
Five.
no.
The stewardship dinner is October 21st.
That's a Thursday.
Yeah,
I do have a board meeting from 3 to 6:30.
okay. Anyway, I just wanted to invite you because the
I
bishop.
love to eat. I would love to come and talk about giving gifts and eating.
Well,
And
the bishop is going to be here with us.
yeah, so that's a double reason that I probably have to be in the board meeting. He is getting the better gig.
Yeah. All
Promise.
right, and the second thing deals going back to our transition.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a diocesan liaison to meet with us? And if
Nope.
yes, have you found one?
You'll have a transition consultant by the time Craig starts. And Tuesday of next week, I'm meeting with all the transition consultants. And one of the tasks is assigning folks to 5 different congregations. And you're at the top of the list.
All right,
So
Thank you very
I
much.
think I said in the email, I'm confident that by Thursday I will be able to confirm, because one of the things I think is going to happen is I'm going to get these folks in the Zoom room and they're going to have their calendars but not be totally sure, need to check with their spouses and people about whether or not they can do things. And then they'll tell me Wednesday and I'll tell you Thursday.
yeah, you did say Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, wait,
thank you.
Peter,
Questions?
Father Bill had that one question about there's
Oh,
certain
yeah.
agreement.
There is a part of the letter of separation that states about a retired vicar who can come back and run things or go do services. I don't have the language with me right off the top of my head. Up until a month before the new vicar comes into play. What's that about?
Let me pull up the specific language so I can interpret
I'm
it.
trying to find.
Sorry, I just don't have it right in front of me. Okay. Oh, wait, that's the separation. I'm so sorry. I opened up the one that was the LOA, not the separation letter. So this is a clause that is not often invoked, and in this case, it probably wouldn't be, where if this would be in a place where there weren't really other priests or like there weren't other options or a very specific circumstance, and it requires the special approval of the bishop. So that is not provided. So this clause, which reads, in the event of the retirement and with the approval of the bishop. So the retirement part qualifies. The vicar may continue to serve during the search process. Oh, I know exactly what this is. This is a clause we put in for a different model than what you're using. So there's a model that we've tried in some places called transition in place. That's where when we know far in advance, like 1 or 2 years, that a person is going to be retiring, then the rector or vicar continue to serve, and you do profile work, search work while they're still in place. Now that's different than this circumstance. We're bringing in an interim so that you have space from Bill for at least a year.
Okay.
That's really the purpose of it. So what if you want to maintain relationship, if you want to preserve the ability for Bill Fulton to come back and be a part of community, then you want to look at clause D. If after a year from the time of the arrival of the new vicar, so the new vicar is the important piece here, there is a desire on the part of that vicar, the new vicar, next vicar, to review this stuff, then the new vicar should, with your consent, and provided the former vicar, Bill, is willing to talk about it, contact the bishop. So basically, if you say, we want Bill to come hang out with us, and the new vicar's cool with it, and Bill's cool with it, you still need permission from the bishop.
That we knew.
Yeah.
That was- And Bill asked me about that one clause, and I'll clarify it with him. But
Yeah,
none of
I'm
it needed to come
now
back.
90% sure that's a transition in place clause that's less relevant here.
Okay, but you did get that letter of separation, and it's
Yes. In fact, now that I'm reading it again through that lens, it's super clear that that's what it means. There's no vicar mentioned in B. So that clause is about if there is no interim and you just keep the vicar while that happens,
okay.
while that change happens.
All right. So ladies, we're all set. I will get a hold of Craig. We will have final pieces put in. The retirement shall be paid. At this point, I don't think we'll have to worry about the medical that's going to be taken out of his retirement from the hospital, Washington State. So we'll see. We'll work on that later.
Peter,
Okay. Yes.
Peter, question. Do you want me to talk to Linda to see if she can send out some kind of a message to the congregation, excluding Bill Fulton, regarding donating money for his retirement?
Yes.
We've only got about a month more to go before Bill's last day. And I think we need to be considering that.
Do it.
I'll talk to Linda if you want me to.
Okay. Well, she's nodding her head, so
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
she may not be able to unmute, but she's smiling. Oh, there you
Okay.
are.
All right.
Yeah, that's done. So
Okay.
just finish sentence for the end.
Okay, there's Linda. Hi, Linda.
Okay.
Good.
Anything else about this transition? The letter of agreement? I'll bring that up. I will call a Zoom meeting of all VC, and we will make agreement that the letter of agreement with Craig is finalized. I will send Arian a copy. She will send it back as an electronic signature. We'll get it signed, sent off to the bishop, and we'll have ourselves in the interim, and he will take over at the first service, which will be the 17th and the 24th and the 31st. And then after that, he's on the books.
And as soon as you see the bishop's signature, you're free to announce. If you can let us know when you're going to announce to the congregation, then we can time an announcement to the clergy of the diocese announcing it as well.
It'll be 5 minutes after I see the bishop.
5 minutes after. Okay, so then make sure that Craig sends us a bio and a picture so that we can get it out.
Right, because I've seen these others that you've been posting, like the one that you just posted.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was. He's over at
On Bainbridge.
was it Bainbridge?
Yeah, Bainbridge Island has a new interim. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Any other questions, comments? Thank you very much. Without, yes, question, Julie? Okay. Without any further ado, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I have to figure out how to get out of here.
Emily, you're still with us.
I can't figure out how to get out.
It's a little button down the side that says leave.
I see, and I'm poking it and it doesn't work. I have a very old computer.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. See ya. No, it's not.
You're gone. Hi, Bill. This is Peter Stockwell. I'm just letting you know that I have adjourned the meeting and you can turn off the Zoom meeting anytime you want to, because you're the only one that's going to be left. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.